in the middle of us canceling people, tweeting out people, fighting on Twitter. This is the next story. Amazon Union Drive losing by wide margin, nearly half the votes counted. So while we are making such stands on social media, the voting laws in Georgia are changing, not in our favor. People who work for Amazon who can't even go to the bathroom and got to pee in bottles because they can't take a break are probably not going to have a union. And it just pisses me off because we get so caught up talking shit on social media, taking people down who look like us for being ignorant and probably just ill-informed, and real stuff is happening around us that is real and taking us down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you talk about the Amazon union, so I'm a big advocate for unions. And I think the large reason why the vote is what it is of course people are swayed to vote against their best interest, probably offered some monetary kickback or promise of whatever stability in a pandemic. So of course people are like, I'd rather make sure I have security than, hope for a union. But I think the reason why most people don't support unions is because they don't truly understand what it means. The union was something that has been done away with over the past couple decades. And, if you talk to someone and you say, listen, there is a body that will make sure that you can't be fired unjustly, that you get X amount of vacation days, that you get full health coverage where you don't have a copay. If you tell somebody that, they'll be like, there's no way that's possible, because that's just how terrible the work environment is in the United States. And so you're telling somebody what sounds like a pipe dream, right? They have no way to fathom that there are precautions in place that can protect them in the workplace. And so they rather say, well, I'd rather do the sure thing, which is just make sure I keep my job, than try to step out on a limb and advocate for myself or make sure that I have protections in this environment, because they don't care about their employees. And so people are afraid. They are afraid. There's not as many jobs, there's not as many, skilled labor or blue collar jobs in America. And so now you have people being like, well, this is the best of what's out here. I don't want to rock the boat. And that is the downfall of capitalism, right? The downfall of capitalism is making people so afraid to demand equal rights and equal pay that they'll go with the bullshit. And then when you talk about Georgia and the whole, making it harder for Black and brown people to vote, essentially, or Democrats, but Black and brown people, I don't understand how people are mad that the Major League Baseball is moving the All-Star game. Like, I hate the argument where people say, oh, it's really only affecting the people who work here. No. The only way that people are going to stop doing racist stuff is if their pockets fill it first. You think the GOP is automatically going to just change its course because people are upset? No, they'll change course when they're losing millions of dollars. And if the people who are working in the hot dog concession and the everyday man, et cetera, if they're not going to get to work at the All-Star game because the GOP is racist and the Major League Baseball is like, we're not going to support this, then that's just what it has to be. Everybody is going to have to make a sacrifice. If you want real change, we talk about this all the time, Aida. If you want real change, you got to make a sacrifice. So stop thinking that you're supposed to still be able to go to work on a Tuesday for a corporation or for a government that's racist as fuck, and then they going to still want to feel like they should do better. That's not how this works. This is capitalism. Oh, people only change when they realize they're losing their money. That's it. They don't care about your beliefs.
They don't. So speaking of capitalism, its child, racism, the CDC says that racism is a serious threat to public health. And we're like, you think? Y'all just came to this? A quote from the former president of the American Public Health Association: racism is operating not only with respect to COVID-19, but also with respect to infant mortality, maternal mortality, obesity. So the reason I was interested in this article is because yesterday I saw an article that was trending on Apple News about how the freeways were structured in a way that was to employ racism. There was a racist motivation for how the freeways are built. But even greater than this, it's like now we are constantly seeing America admit to its racism, but it's because it's mainstream, right? They're capitalizing on it. Now it's like let's have the conversation. You talk about notebooks. Yeah, notebooks are racist too. And now, Trapper Keeper is taking a stand against racism because historically notebooks have been racist. And it's just like constantly pouring into the well, pouring poison into the well that keeps us having these culture wars and these fights while capitalism flourishes. And these people who are rich have gotten so much richer during this pandemic, and we have gotten not richer, and now we're in these big fights. Even with what was happening with what is happening with Asians in America, the argument that the onus is on Black people to be allies to Asians during this moment, as opposed to attacking white supremacy and not saying, stop Asian hate and Asian bullying. Of course. But more, we talking about the systemic stuff, right?